We process the images together and combine two images on one blank screen. Here are two different images of Archimedes' manuscript. If the same two images are processed differently, the text of the prayer book can actually be eliminated. This is extremely important because the diagrams in the manuscript are a unique source for the drawings that Archimedes sketched in the sand in the 4th century BC. For the first time in 2,000 years, the machine described in Archimedes' manuscripts was digitally recreated, not by archaeologists, not by historians, but by quantum artificial intelligence. And what he restored was not just an ancient planetarium. This could be the world's first computer, a bronze machine capable of predicting eclipses decades in advance and tracking planetary movements with astonishing precision. All of this was created by a man who died before the birth of Christ. This is what makes it truly astonishing. Quantum artificial intelligence not only guessed what this device looked like, it used disparate fragments of ancient Roman texts, astronomical cycles known to Archimedes, and the physical limits of Bronze Age engineering. Then he simultaneously calculated millions of possible gear combinations. As a result, a complete digital schematic of the machine that vanished from history was created. But here's what should frighten you. When researchers input the AI design into modern simulations, the device worked perfectly. Every gear ratio matched known astronomical cycles, and each planet's position corresponded to ancient Greek observations. This means that Archimedes was not just ahead of his time. He was creating technologies that would not be seen for over 1,500 years. Let's clarify what happened here. This was not just an experiment in digital archaeology. What the quantum AI recreated proves that ancient civilizations possessed computational thinking that we are just beginning to understand. The gap between their world and ours has significantly narrowed. But here is where this story becomes truly incredible. The quantum AI not only gathered old historical data, but found patterns that no human researcher had noticed. Remember Archimedes' prayer book, this millennial text in which scholars discovered that Archimedes erased mathematical records using X-ray imaging. Thus, there have always been these faint marks in the margins, ghostly sketches beneath the religious text that experts could not decipher. For decades, historians believed these were just random scratches from the original scribe. The quantum AI looked at these ghostly diagrams and saw something entirely different: mechanical outlines, the arrangement of gears that could become the real blueprints of its legendary machine. With advanced image recognition, the AI transformed these fragments into possible design schematics. Lines that meant nothing to the human eye suddenly formed teeth and rotating mechanisms. But that is not the most shocking part. When the artificial intelligence matched the description of Archimedes' planetarium given by Cicero with the transmission ratios from the mechanism of an ancient device found in a sunken ship, it discovered something amazing. The mathematical ratios turned out to be almost identical. This means that the famous device from Antikythera was not a unique marvel of engineering. It was based on principles that Archimedes had already perfected 150 years earlier. We are not only talking about a lost machine. Archimedes invented an entire branch of analog computing. The technology was so advanced that when it vanished with his death, humanity did not see anything like it until the Renaissance. However, then the artificial intelligence model revealed something unexpected: the hidden power of the device. The AI reconstruction revealed something that changes all our perceptions of ancient war. Archimedes' planetarium was not just an educational tool, it was a weapon. Think about it. In the ancient world, solar and lunar eclipses were not seen as astronomical events. They were interpreted as messages from the gods. Solar eclipses signified divine wrath, while lunar eclipses foretold the fall of kings. Armies would literally retreat if an eclipse occurred before battle. Now imagine you are defending Syracuse from the most powerful military force in the world. The Romans have siege towers, catapults, and thousands of soldiers. But you have something they do not: a bronze machine capable of predicting eclipses decades in advance. You could precisely plan your attacks, coordinate defenses, even spread rumors about divine signs that you knew would come. In a world where superstitions dictated military decisions, Archimedes' device was not just a planetarium. It was a perfect tool of psychological warfare. This is computational thinking. In 2000 BC, while the Romans relied on brute force, Archimedes used mathematics to bend reality to his will. NASA supercomputers, which track satellites and plan space missions, solve the same fundamental problem that Archimedes encoded in bronze gears over 2,000 years ago: predicting where celestial objects will be at any moment in time. Think from the perspective of the Romans. They believed they were storming a city defended by catapults and walls. They had no idea that Archimedes was defending Syracuse with advanced mathematics, precise optics, and possibly a cosmic calculator that could glimpse into the future. It's no surprise that it took them 3 years to capture the city. If you're intrigued by how artificial intelligence rewrites history and reveals the true power of ancient technologies, be sure to stay tuned for news, as what the quantum AI has discovered may astonish you even more. The device had capabilities that even Cicero never mentioned. Quantum AI. So how exactly does quantum AI reconstruct a machine from disparate ancient texts? This process truly amazes the imagination. First, the researchers uploaded all available historical facts, descriptions of Cicero's bronze sphere, technical notes by Pappus of Alexandria, even fragments of mechanisms similar to the Antikythera mechanism. Then they added astronomical data that Archimedes could have known. The lunar cycle lasting 29.5 days, the 18-year eclipse cycle known as the Saros cycle, as well as the complex orbital periods of Mercury, Venus, Mars, Jupiter, and Saturn. Finally, they established physical constraints. The bronze gears could not be too small or they would break, and the number of teeth had to be a whole number. The entire device had to fit within what a Roman general could carry. And here, quantum computing becomes absolutely necessary. A classical computer trying to test every possible combination of gears would take centuries. It is about billions of different configurations, varying numbers of teeth, different gear ratios, and mechanical layouts. But quantum algorithms work differently. They can evaluate millions of possibilities simultaneously. It is as if millions of ancient clockmakers were working in parallel in infinite quantum universes, each trying their approach to solving the same cosmic problem. Viable constructs emerged within hours, not years. And what is truly astonishing is that some of the artificial intelligence designs included mechanisms that Cicero never even mentioned, like differential drives for tracking the moon's movement and devices with pins and slots for accounting for planetary irregularities. The characteristics were so advanced that they would not be reinvented until the Renaissance. One of these projects reveals something particularly astonishing: a hidden function suggesting that Archimedes could have embedded capabilities in his device that he never showed to anyone. The analysis of quantum AI revealed data that completely changes our understanding of what Archimedes created. It was not just a planetarium meant to impress Roman generals. The device had integrated calendar and navigation functions that scientists completely overlooked. Look at the transmission ratios restored by the AI. Yes, they track the movements of planets, but they also accurately calculate seasonal changes, lunar months, and the rising of specific star constellations. These are navigational data. Think about what this means. Ancient sailors relied on the stars to cross the Mediterranean Sea. They needed to know when Sirius rose to predict the Nile's flooding and when the Pleiades appeared to set sail on time. Archimedes' machine could provide all this information decades in advance. If sailors had access to this device, they could plan routes with unprecedented accuracy, track seasonal weather conditions, and even calculate the optimal moments for embarking on long journeys. It was not just astronomy. This was the first GPS navigation system of the ancient world. And here is what makes it absolutely incredible. Quantum navigation systems are currently being developed for deep space missions. NASA engineers are working on quantum sensors that can track the position of spacecraft without using signals from Earth. The main task they are solving is similar to that which Archimedes worked on, using celestial mechanics to determine position and time with mathematical precision. This discovery concerns not only one ancient device, but also something far more troubling: technological amnesia. Consider what we have just learned. Archimedes created computing devices in the 2nd century BC that were not seen until the 16th century. 14 centuries of lost knowledge. 14 centuries when humanity forgot how to build analog computers. And this should keep you awake at night. If something happened to Archimedes' planetarium, what else have we lost? Ancient sources mention devices that sound like science fiction. Hero of Alexandria created steam engines and programmable automatons. The Library of Alexandria housed water clocks that could track time in multiple time zones. There are references to mechanical calculators, automatic doors, even primitive robots. Most historians dismiss these mentions as exaggerated myths, but if quantum artificial intelligence can reconstruct Archimedes' computer from fragmented texts, it can do the same with other devices. We may be on the verge of restoring an entire lost branch of engineering. Mechanical computers, precision automata, energy systems that we are only now rediscovering through renewable technologies. This is not just archaeological curiosity. This is the restoration of human intellectual heritage, which can accelerate modern innovations for decades to come. But here is the most frightening part of this whole story. We know exactly what happened to the original Archimedes device. The Romans took him, displayed him in temples as a trophy of conquest, and then allowed him to completely disappear. Why did the most technologically advanced empire of the ancient world deliberately suppress such a powerful technology? What were they afraid of? What did they understand about Archimedes' machine that made them wish to hide it for 2,000 years? The answer may be more disturbing than you think. Now that you understand how high the stakes are, let me tell you who Archimedes really was, because his story makes this discovery even more incredible. Archimedes of Syracuse lived from 287 to 212 BC. Mathematician, engineer, inventor, but most importantly, he was obsessed with turning theory into reality. While other philosophers discussed abstract concepts, Archimedes created machines capable of changing the world. During the siege of Syracuse by the Romans, he built mechanical claws that could lift entire warships out of the water and smash them against the rocks. He developed arrays of bronze mirrors that focused sunlight into destructive thermal rays. And here's the amazing part. Modern tests proved that these weapons actually worked. In the year 2024, a student from the United States successfully recreated Archimedes' death ray on a small scale, using mirrors to focus sunlight on targets. Previously, researchers at the Massachusetts Institute of Technology were able to set a wooden boat on fire using dozens of mirrors working in coordination. But Archimedes was not only involved in military inventions, he created the Archimedes screw, a spiral pump still used today to lift water. He discovered the laws of buoyancy, which govern the design of ships and modern submarines. His work with levers led to the creation of advanced siege engines and construction cranes. This man realized that mathematics could change the physical world. For centuries, most of his works were lost. Medieval scribes literally erased his works to reuse the parchment for prayer books. The famous Archimedean palimpsest is a 1,000-year-old manuscript in which his mathematical treatises were erased and rewritten with religious texts. Only in the 2000s did researchers use X-ray imaging at the Stanford Linear Accelerator to peer through prayers and restore the original words of Archimedes. Page by page, they returned mathematical ideas hidden for millennia. And there is also the Antikythera mechanism, found in a shipwreck off the Greek coast, dating back to around 150 years before our era. This device, the size of a shoebox made of bronze, with over 30 precision-cut gears, could predict planetary positions, lunar phases, and solar eclipses with astonishing accuracy. For decades, historians called it the first analog computer in the world. But they always wondered where such advanced technology came from. It seemed to have appeared out of nowhere until the present time arrived. That is why the breakthrough in quantum artificial intelligence is so significant. For centuries, we have had only fragments, legends, and whispers of ancient technological wonders, broken devices, and rewritten manuscripts, stories that sounded too incredible to believe. But now, artificial intelligence fills these gaps in real time, returning to us what history tried to erase. The question is, what else awaits its discovery? Ask yourself, did Archimedes try to solve the same navigation problems over 2,000 years ago that NASA engineers face today when planning missions to Mars and beyond? If this connection doesn't give you chills, I honestly don't know what else could. However, the reconstruction using artificial intelligence revealed another mystery of this device, something that may explain why it completely vanished from history. So here we are, for the first time in over 2,000 years, the legendary device of Archimedes exists again. Not in bronze and glass, but in a quantum-enhanced digital reality. This is not just a restoration of a lost machine. It is something much deeper. We always assume that human progress moves linearly, from stone tools to bronze, from iron to computers. But Archimedes proves that this is completely wrong. Genius can manifest anywhere and at any time. Revolutionary technologies can emerge, thrive, and then completely disappear. Quantum artificial intelligence shows us that the gap between ancient genius and modern innovations is much smaller than we ever thought. The same mathematical principles that govern our satellites were encoded in bronze gears long before Rome ruled the world. But here's what gives me chills. If this knowledge could disappear once, it can disappear again. Civilizations fall. Libraries burn. Digital networks can fail. What truly represents a breakthrough in quantum artificial intelligence is a new form of archaeological insurance. We are no longer just excavating the past. We digitally recreate it, preserving it to ensure it is never lost again. And this is just the beginning. Each ancient manuscript holds potential blueprints. Each fragmentary link may hide revolutionary technology. Quantum artificial intelligence not only restores Archimedes' planetarium, but opens the door to recovering all lost technological heritage of humanity. Archimedes once said, "Give me a place to stand, and I will move the earth." Today, with quantum artificial intelligence as our lever, we are shifting his world. We reach out across 20 centuries to shake hands with genius. We prove that the best ideas never die. They are just waiting for the right technology to come back to life. If you want to see more breakthroughs where ancient mysteries meet cutting-edge science, join us on this journey and tell in the comments which lost invention you would like quantum artificial intelligence to restore next. Heroes, steam engines, automatons of the Library of Alexandria, or perhaps something even more amazing that we have yet to discover. The future of the past is just beginning.